I was shapen in wickedness. Turn thy face from my sins.
Didn't you see the sign?
Supposed to hand in your rifle at the sheriff's office.
I ain't gonna ask you twice.
Then I got me a room about folks pointing guns at me first time I let them off with a warning.
I want it right fucking now.
The movie opens in 1865 Missouri, where 5 men on horseback are riding towards a house. There they meet a young farmer named Jamie Hedges, and the group's leader introduces himself to Jamie as Sergeant Merritt Harknett.
Call off your dog, boy. I'll do it for you.
Sergeant Harknett explains that they served with Jamie's brother Josiah Hedges as Union Army comrades during the American Civil War. Jamie expected Josiah to be in their company, but Harknett then delivers devastating news.
I'm afraid he's not with anyone on this mortal plane. My condolences.
But Harknett didn't come all this way just to deliver news of Josiah's alleged demise. According to Harknett, Jamie's brother took $1,000 that belonged to him. He says the money would be in a gold-decorated jewel box and demands Jamie fetch it. But Jamie is able to see through the deception.
You're a liar, son of a rich senator riding all this way for $1,000?
Harknett simply demands the box once more, and Little Bill shoots and kills Jamie's dog like he threatened to. Harknett threatens Jamie to provide the jewel box, but he remains defiant.
Go to hell.
Jamie crawls backwards and grabs his gun. He shoots Little Bill, but Harknett reacts quickly and shoots Jamie's other knee. Luckily for Bill, the bullet only hit his hip flask. The other 3 men are then ordered to search the house for the box.
What about Josiah? As long as he's out there alive, get some kerosene. This thing ain't near done yet.
That night, Josiah Hedges comes home to find their house ablaze and his brother's corpse burnt and hanging from a rope. He sheds a tear and breathes heavily. 2 months later, he rides into Little Bill's hometown, a place called Seward in the state of Kansas. The town's signpost has been vandalized with the word hate because of its history of persecuting black people who were formerly slaves. The town is mostly empty, but Hedges sees a reverend and a young lady named Beth working on the axle of her cart. Hedges offers to help, but she declines. He remarks that the town seems empty, but is told by the lady that all the townfolk are at the hanging currently taking place. He rides there where a man is about to be hanged simply for spitting at the sheriff. The sheriff is a man named Big Bill, Little Bill's father. Hedges ties his horse and takes out his Henry rifle. He observes a young man named Benny drawing the scene of the hanging on paper. He then takes a few steps forward, but is stopped by 2 deputies.
Supposed to hand in your rifle at the sheriff's office.
Oh, wait. It's hanging somebody.
The man is hung while Hedges still refuses to give up his weapon. The 2 deputies threaten him and he decides to take the confrontation to the next level. He disarms one deputy and kills the other, then skillfully shoots down the rope the man was dangling from. Big Bill orders Deputy Bean to stand down and he walks over to talk to Hedges, who claims self-defense.
That what you want to tell the judge?
Wanna see him?
You're seeing him right now.
Hedges is being cocky to the sheriff, but rather than punish him, Big Bill decides to make a deal. In exchange for not hanging Hedges, Big Bill wants him to serve as his new deputy, which seems fair considering he just killed the former one.
Deputy Bean here is going to show you the ropes.
Big Bill tells Hedges that Seward is not a bad town as long as he obeys the rules. The man who was just saved is being prepared to be hanged again while Deputy Bean takes Hedges around the town. Bean tells Hedges that the town has a dark secret. He says an underground railroad used to run through the church in front of them, and black people used to pay in gold for transport.
About 4 years back, a fella running the underground. He takes their gold, he locks them in, and he burns the place down. Like I said, every town's got a secret. That's ours.
Hedges goes to see about getting a room, and Benny offers to help since he works at the saloon. Shortly after, Benny takes Hedges to his room. The hip flask recovered from the scene of Jamie's death slips out of a bag, and Benny notices the bullet hole.
Guess you can't hold your liquor, huh?
Hedges says the flask belongs to a man he's looking for. He looks out from his window and notices some boxes of fireworks. He then asks to see Benny's drawing book and flips through, complimenting his work. Hedges gives Benny a few coins to fix up his horse and leads him out of the room. As dusk settles over the town, Hedges stands alone on the roof. His thoughts drift to his slain brother, and he promises that soon he'll avenge Jamie's death by killing the 5 men responsible.
And I'm gonna send them your way one by one or all in a bunch. And I'm sorry I wasn't there for you.
After taking a bath that evening, he joins Deputy Bean at the saloon. The place is alive with noise and liquor, and it doesn't take Hedges long to notice the attention from women who eye him seductively. He mutters that this town is full of filthy women of all kinds, and a soft, playful voice answers him from behind. It's Beth, the lady from earlier. He didn't expect to see her there because he'd taken her for a good Christian woman.
Well, you never know. I bare my chest used to say you won't see a big gold crucifix.
She tries to seduce him, but he declines and moves on toward Deputy Bean. His eyes land on a painting of the sheriff standing beside a young boy, and he asks who it is. Bean answers that it's the sheriff's son, Little Bill, who's all grown up now. Bean says he left to fight the war, but is expected to return any day now.
Planning a big homecoming, are you?
Like I said, war hero, big deal, town this size.
But of course, Hedges already knows this. Just then, we see Little Bill's wife, Pilar, show up to the saloon. Benny hands her a drawing of her husband, which she accepts. Deputy Bean explains that there is usually trouble when she is around, and it's their job to handle it. Pilar moves to the bar, where she orders whiskey, but the bartender is under strict orders not to serve her. So she turns to sit near some men at a table.
You should go handle that.
The lady is spoken for. Okay, then.
Pilar approaches the men, and one of them attempts to touch her, but she calmly warns him not to. They continue flirting with Pilar, ignoring Hedges' warning. To make things worse, a dog nibbles at one of the men, and he kicks it away, provoking Hedges.
I said the woman ain't interested.
Let's take this outside.
Ma'am.
Hedges notices a piece of paper on the floor. It's the drawing made by Benny of Little Bill, and it shows a scar running across his face. Hedges knew Little Bill got that scar in the war, which meant Benny had seen him recently. Later, Beth knocks on the telegraph office door, but the old man inside the shop refuses to open up until she shows him her detective badge. Once inside, she has him write a message to the Pinkerton National Detective Agency.
Hedges is alive and in Seward, Last Drop Hotel.
She adds that she's still observing him for the item in question. She pays the man for his service and leaves. As Benny gets off work, Hedges suddenly grabs him, startling Benny for a moment. Hedges reassures him to take it easy and informs him that he just wants to talk about the drawing he made of Little Bill.
I see the only problem is that I was there when he got that scar. And I don't recall seeing you there. I'm gonna ask you again, where is he?
Benny shakily points to the burnt-down old church. Hedges pats him on the shoulder and heads there. He gets in through the window and pulls out his gun. He moves toward the curtains, but when he pulls them aside, he is surprised to find Pilar lying on a bed, with nothing on but a chastity belt. Hedges hears a gun click behind him. It's Big Bill. He tells Hedges to set the gun on the ground and explains that while his son isn't there, Pilar is, as he waves the key to the chastity belt in his face.
I'll just sit over there and watch. It was all safe to you. Nah, it's a peace offering.
Not my style.
The sheriff then hands Hedges back his gun and orders Pilar to leave.
Something special about you, son. You're evil, but you got principles. I like that.
He then tells Hedges that he will soon be moving some valuable cargo and needs a bodyguard, but he has one condition if they're going to move forward.
You can find it in your heart to forgive my son for whatever the hell he done to you.
However, their conversation is cut short as gunshots and the sound of horses neighing echo from outside. They move out to investigate, and Hedges goes to check the back. Pilar pulls him aside and says it was Benny who fired the shots at her request, so she and Hedges could talk privately. She asks him to help her run away. Hedges tells her to forget about it because his only mission is to kill her husband. So in a desperate attempt to gain his help, she reveals a secret.
You know about the Underground Railroad. There's talk that the gold never left, that it's hidden somewhere near the church.
She shares her suspicions that Benny knows where it is buried. Hedges connects the dots and realizes why Big Bill hangs people for spitting. Apparently, it allows him to secretly dig for the lost gold while burying bodies. Pilar insists that they must find it and leave. Suddenly, Big Bill finds them. Pilar slaps Hedges hard, making it look like he was trying to force himself on her.
Drag me to the fucking alley! Get him, Big Bill!
What are you doing? You trying to get me strung up?
In the confusion, she sneakily slips a key into his pocket and runs off. Now Hedges has committed a crime and Big Bill has cause to punish him. But the sheriff says he doesn't feel like he should be the one passing judgment and asks the opinion of Little Bill, who is standing behind Hedges.
Well, I think we should hang him, Paul.
Hedges is taken away and locked up to be hanged the next morning. The men guarding the cell examine his gun, a .44 caliber Henry rimfire, and admit the sheriff would want it as an addition to his gun collection. One guard leaves and the other sleeps off. Noticing this, Hedges uses the key Pilar gave him to free himself. He immediately heads to see Pilar. He aims the rifle at her and demands to know where Little Bill is, but she claims to have no idea.
Lady, I ain't no fiddle, so why are you playing me?
Pieces of gold placed on top of a napkin catch his attention, and he asks if it's a gift from Benny. Pilar says that there is more, and tells Hedges they can find it and leave the town, but he reminds her that he's on a mission.
Lady, you ain't listening. I just got here.
They pay Benny a visit and demand to know where the gold is. Benny's father was a blacksmith, and it's suspected that he must have melted down the gold and hid it somewhere. Benny has flashbacks of how his father smelted the gold and how he lost his arm by playing with it.
I don't know where he hid it. I just got some.
Hedges tears down a drawing on the wall and finds a hole behind it, in which lies Benny's golden half-arm with several holes in it.
There's no need to be ashamed, Benny. You got a right to bear arms.
The next morning, Big Bill goes to the cell to take Hedges to his hanging, only to discover that he's escaped.
Not a bad day for a hanging, though, isn't it? What do you think, Mr. Hedges?
On the table, Big Bill finds a piece of fingers made of gold and a letter stating that if he wants the rest, his son must be sent to whitewash the word hate from the town sign so Hedges can take him out. Big Bill obliges and sends his son to the signpost, while Hedges and Benny sit in the mountains waiting for Little Bill to ride up.
Ought to be getting back, Mr. Edge.
Stay with me, Benny.
Big Bill soon walks up behind them, but he claims he's not trying to stop his son from getting killed.
Gold worth more than your own son?
Man's got to prioritize, doesn't he?
I'm not sure he's my kid anyway. I held up my end. He's gonna be at it all day.
Slothful little fuck.
Hedges wastes no time. He lines up the shot and is about to pull the trigger when he realizes the weight of the gun is off. It had been tampered with by the cell guards, so it backfires when the trigger is pulled. The sheriff is disappointed that Hedges didn't fall for the trap and signals his men, who had been hiding in the woods, to come out and arrest him. The sheriff pulls out the gold finger and tells Benny that the only reason he's there is because Hedges is trading him for a clear shot at Little Bill.
Is that true, Mr. Edge?
Gotta thank you. Because if the idiot here was there when his daddy was smelting all of that slave gold, he's the link I've been missing.
Big Bill strikes Hedges in the knee, causing him to wince in pain. The men are then ordered to finish the job.
Hey! No! Stop it!
Hedges rolls down the cliff to escape as he's been shot at. He hopes to land in the water but falls on a tree and is impaled by a branch. Deputy Bean leans over the cliff to check if he's dead, but Hedges shoots him in the head.
Putting a swap through my deputies, aren't you? You can slow roast out there or you can drown. I don't care much which. We'll leave you to it.
Hedges tries to free himself but remains trapped even as rain pours down on him through the night. The next morning, Little Bill appears at the edge of the cliff, claiming he wants to make amends.
I know I can't bring back your brother, no, but you gotta know it wasn't me. I was hearting it. Maybe in another life, we could be friends again.
Just as Lil Bill leaves, Hedges pulls out the branch from his side with all his strength and fires at the other branches, pinning his foot. He falls into the river and swims to safety. Later, he finds an abandoned house and breaks into it. He sits by a fire and tends his wound. Benny had run off during the fight but is later found and pinned against the town sign as ordered by Big Bill. He cries in fear as the sheriff demands to know where the gold is hidden.
Or I have to burn some more Negro.
Hedges sneaks up on a guard and forces his way into the armory. Once inside, he retrieves a rifle and eyes a rotary cannon. Meanwhile, before Big Bill can start torturing Benny, his attention is shifted to the sound of some men riding into town. It's Sergeant Harknett and his entourage. The two men lock eyes and greet each other.
I expect that means Little Bill's around here somewhere.
You know my son.
My. I guess you got a short memory, Sheriff.
Harknett reminds the sheriff that he had ridden into their town years ago to recruit his son himself. Little Bill then steps out of the saloon and confirms that those men are his former squad. Harknett asks about Hedges, and the sheriff claims he saw him die a few days earlier. Big Bill then reminds Harknett that everyone must respect the town's rules regarding sidearms. As they argue, a bundle of dynamite is thrown in the middle of the street. The men scatter in every direction as the smoke from the explosion fills everywhere. An unclear shape moving inside the fog catches the attention of the men, and they start firing at it only to realize it's a scarecrow. Then a rotary cannon pushes forward between its legs. It's Hedges who starts firing at everyone. Hedges comes out of hiding and shoots at the men. Harknett aims at Hedges, but is shot in the arm by Benny. He turns and shoots Benny, while one of his men chases Hedges down.
Forgot your training, Sergeant?
Never take higher ground.
Hedges throws a makeshift fire starter into a wooden downspout. It lands on some gunpowder and ignites a box of fireworks nearby, setting the man ablaze. Hedges then runs across the rooftops, shooting anyone who comes into view. He kills a few men but his foot is shot at, and he crashes down from the balcony. Hedges kills the shooter and spots Harknett entering the old church. In front of him is a badly injured horse, which he puts out of its misery. He stares at Benny's corpse and lets out a sigh. Now he has one more life to avenge. He goes after Harknett with a pack of dynamite but is immediately shot at.
Toss out your gun, or I'll kill the kid. What kid?
The kid he refers to is Pilar. Hedges has no choice but to surrender his gun and bag of dynamite. He inches forward as Harknett tightens his grip on Pilar's neck, and Big Bill stands out of sight with a rifle above.
Oh, you should have heard your baby brother holler. We put greenwood under him. Burned real slow, it did.
Harknett demands to know where the jewel box is. Suddenly, Hedge is shot in the shoulder by Big Bill but reacts quickly, lighting a dynamite and sending it Big Bill's way. Harknett shoots at Pilar's chastity belt, unlocking it for her to smack him with. Big Bill tries to run from the dynamite but is frightened by the dog and ends up tangling his foot in the church bell ropes and falling out the window. The bell rings as he hangs upside down. He tries to fire at the rope but hits the bell. The bullet scratch reveals the church bell is made of the gold he's been searching for. He laughs hysterically and keeps shooting at it. The dog grabs the dynamite and drops it out the window. It lands near Big Bill as he desperately tries to put it out. He is unable to reach it and begs Edge to help, but the dynamite goes off at the same time. Hedges crashes into a pit and watches what is left of Big Bill burn. He then hops on a horse, ready to go after Harknett, as the town reverend approaches him and tells him not to come back. Little Bill tries to flee, but the townspeople surround him with rifles, blaming him for everything.
Things were status quo around here until you came back from the war, Little Bill. Don't move, son.
Get off! Get off!
Hedges raises his rifle to shoot Harknett but falls off his horse before he can do so. Beth rushes to his side, but he pins her down, his hand around her neck.
You're not just a lady of the line, are you, Pinkerton? I saw you at the telegraph office. I didn't figure you was wiring your Sweeney.
She presses into his wound and forces him off her. She says the Harknett family controls half the country, which makes it unwise that he's made himself an enemy of theirs.
By you.
Fuck you. I'm helping you, aren't I?
She then asks him about the gilt jewel box, but Hedges denies any knowledge of it.
I've seen plenty of guilt, but I ain't seen your box.
Back in town, Little Bill is dragged to the gallows. A woman suddenly yells that Josiah Hedges is back, and Little Bill begs his executioners to hurry it up.
Hurry it up, come on! Don't let him get me! I'm taking Little Bill, and I'll take a few more with him, don't matter to me.
Pilar begs Hedges to spare her husband's life, but he fires away. He shoots at Little Bill again and again, drawing it out, until a final shot to the neck leaves Little Bill choking before his head is snapped off his body by the hang rope. The epilogue shows Harknett arriving late to a gathering in the town of St. Louis, Missouri. He apologizes for the delay, explaining that he's just returned from a small town, which he describes to the audience.
Negroes everywhere. In the stables, in the restaurants, unchaperoned. One even drew pictures and sold them.
He declares it a sad day for the 37 United States and presents a letter pledging money and allegiance to form a new, organized uprising of the former Confederate States. He promises that the South will rise again. When asked about his time with the Army Union, Harknett claims it was all for appearances, saying he had a family business to inherit and so a reputation to uphold. He promises to bring savages to their cause and a sacred box that will guarantee the cooperation of a powerful new ally.
Why, the Apache Nation, of course.
The Apache what?
One man walks up to Harknett and tells him he shouldn't have revealed such sensitive information in the presence of the hookers in the room. To fix it, the sergeant pulls out his gun and shoots them, scaring the men in the room.
No hookers at the strategy meeting.
In the end, he sits and audibly reflects on the old days, recalling the night he burnt the church in Hate Town with black people locked inside and screaming in agony.